and today I'm going to give you guys my review for the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy's Kingdom, the Ark. And this figure has been sitting in my collection almost, I was like earlier this year. I think I had gotten it thanks to a subscriber who wishes to remain anonymous. But, I had gotten it. It kind of like sat, if you guys saw my old office, and I wasn't able to really do, many reviews because real life had kind of had its weight on me. But now that I'm in the new office, we are checking this figure out. And here's the thing. The reason why I really wanted to do this figure is because, well, this is one of the packages in the boxes that actually got crushed in the moving truck. And you can kind of see some of the damage there on the box. So I'm hoping the figure is in good condition. We'll find out when we open it. But the box art is amazing. I do have this artwork already in the art and making of the War for Cybertron trilogy art book. That which is really a fantastic book, if you ask me. And taking a look at the packaging, you can already see like the Nemesis is kind of blasting at the Ark from a distance, which is kind of like the whole idea. And so it's a kind of a wraparound art, and I think that is fantastic. Of course, you've got the Kingdom artwork there on the back, and we can see that the Ark transforms and has a bunch of cool different features. I am really looking forward to opening this, in addition to many other figures you can kind of see there in the background that I want to actually start to getting into reviews. So without further ado, let's sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Okay, so here is the Ark outside of the packaging, and you can see it's a great looking set piece overall with all the gun turrets there, which are not movable. They are molded in and then painted over in black. Everything looks exactly like you would expect for the Ark. It comes with these extra pieces here that are supposed to be part of the knees and also kind of sticks out like so, but you have to line them up just right in order to get in there, and that's what gives you the complete portion of the Ark. I know some people have complained that you can still see the legs on the sides there, but for some reason it doesn't bother me as badly as a couple other different things with this particular figure, but that's okay. And then on the back side here, you have the landing gear which come out, and of course this is the ramp that comes down, because there is a small figure that comes with this particular, let's see if I can get that focusing in, right here is, this is Optimus Prime. It's tiny, like really tiny, and the purpose for that is to have it like in scale with the Ark to give you a sense of like how massive this ship actually is. Thing is though, I don't remember the Ark being this big, but then again I could be wrong depending upon which universe. Also comes with these really cool looking blast effects that comes with two sets of them, so it's basically a set of 6. And I was actually expecting a little bit more, personally, just because I believe that Skyfire and Skylynx, I'm saying Skyfire, but Jetfire, came with much more. And I think Rodimus Prime did as well, as like all these different blast effects, because having, I know a lot of people like just put them in a bag and just put them to the side, but I do like them for certain blasting, effects and special effects for certain things. The darker blue, I would have actually preferred it to just be a more of a lighter blue, but then again, this does work for its intended purpose. It also comes with a black Arachnia card. I know every Kingdom figure came with different cards, and this one in particular came with the one that has her turn into a Maximal. But the problem I've had with these particular cards, and I have like a bunch of them, is that you end up with like how many black Arachnia cards, and you're like, I don't need all these black Arachnia cards. Or Optimus Prime cards, when I would have preferred each card to be with the corresponding character. Of course, you have the golden disc there on the back, which we'll get into later. Looking at further detail of the Ark from the front, you can actually see the control room on the of the bridge, there on the inside, which is really great, which again, part of the transformation, it's kind of there for that reason as well, because it almost becomes like a mini playset, which I do think is really neat. In addition, you have like an additional like control tower there in the back, and then on the back side here, take a look at that. That's the view that everybody sees in the well, actually it's this way. From the G1 cartoon is the bridge of, the backside of the Ark sticking out of the volcano. Because those of you who have seen that stupid meme that goes around like, oh, they went 4 million years and they didn't see the volcano. Well, if you hadn't watched the first episode, you would have not realized the volcano erupted and that pushed the Ark out so that you can see it. Basically uncovered it, and then they must have had the the ramp here in order to get out. Well, in reality, of course, they did it a little bit differently in the G1 cartoon, and that is perfectly fine as well. The other thing that's cool, of course, is the landing gear, and that is so that you can, if you are using this as like a playset or like a, whatever, you can have the Ark land wherever you need it to. You can already see from this part right here, the parts are not as connected as they need to be, and that's just kind of like something you have to deal with. But other than that, I really dig the Ark just as the Ark. It's where we'll get to the rest of it as it goes into everything else. But as I showed you that little mini Optimus Prime, let's just, for all intents and purposes, here is Earthrise Kingdom Optimus Prime kind of standing on top of the Ark. Why? Because he's massive. Why not? Right? So let's put him to the side. And let's actually kind of start the transformation process, because there is something interesting about this. I'm going to put this out like so. And, close the landing gear. And there's a little panel right here on the side of the Ark. And that is where the control tower would go. And that goes inside, and then you close the flap. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to take the top section, and I know this is kind of like in reverse, because if you guys have seen my other toy reviews before, I usually do things like, let's transform feet and legs, then arms and body, and then we'll form the head. Well, this particular transformer, we're going to do that the opposite way. And there's a reason behind that, because it's so massive. So, like, the back section pops open, and then you can already see the clip, like right over here, and that is what snaps into place and keeps it intact. And then we kind of have a little head sticking out. And from here, we're going to, not do that. The next thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to like separate this portion right here, because the thing about this, when you like try to pull this open, these panels right here will pop off, and I have a very difficult time transforming it without them popping off. It just seems that they don't want to transform with the rest of the transformer. Maybe I just can't get my finger in there, but it's just kind of like wedged in there like so, and they're gonna pop off, and they can easily be popped right back on, but it just kind of stinks, because it's like when you're trying to transform it without technically parts forming, that is something that you're gonna have to deal with when transforming him. And yeah, it kind of happens very frequently, and not exactly my cup of tea for these particular panels. It seems to be like the one issue that I have with transforming it. So I'm going to fold them in on purpose, and then from here, this section, we're going to fold this way and fold that in. And now what we're going to do, on purpose, there is the control panel. I mean, the bridge of the Ark, and this little Optimus Prime can fit on the inside of one of these stations right here. So basically, Prime is piloting, the Ark, and of course you have the little orb there that they used in the Kingdom, cartoon, or actually the Earthrise cartoon and Kingdom, so that they can find the planet where the Allspark was located, and that was kind of like part of the whole storyline with this particular, that particular series. The whole section here can come out. You don't have to remove it to transform it. But I'm going to put this to the side because we're going to get into that, after we finish, transforming it, because I'd rather get into the Ark itself and then get into the extra detailing with it because it's kind of cool. So from here, what you want to do is you're going to separate. There are little like tabs that the side part panels here kind of connect to, and this whole section for both arms come up all the way. Then we're going to turn the shoulders, nice clickety-clack on the ratchets, and we're going to separate the shoulders like so. And there are like tabs here for the shoulders to peg into, and it's very, very tight, which is a good thing because for a transformer this size, you want that to peg in. And then from here, pull down the arm, and let me actually show this on camera so you can see the hand there, and the whole section comes out as you pop the hand out. Thumb can just go this way, hand can close, and then we're going to pull the arm down like so. And we're going to do it the same thing on the other side. Just get the hand out. Get that in there. Like so. And then we're going to rotate the hand so that we have the Ark as it stands. And now this whole panel here, it has to come down. I believe that it connects over here. So you want to push it down and then push down on this side, and then it should kind of like click into place if if it's lined up properly, and then it stays in place as you need it to. The thing is that if the control panel is not in there, there is a nice little gap, and you can kind of see it like right here, kind of stick your hand right into the chest. But that is only if you remove this. If you keep this intact and keep it, not used, then it'll look a little bit more complete. But it's perfectly fine either way. From here, what you're going to want to do is you're going to separate the legs, and because we've opened up the panel, it should be a little bit easier. But I'm going to push the on the table so it's easier to separate, and we open up the legs, and then you have a foot here. Same thing on this side. Foot there. And then basically get him to stand up. You can already see that you have to rotate legs and then rotate him at the waist. And you can already tell he is one big figure. And just trying to get him fully on camera here so that you can see it. Of course, on camera, the lights are kind of washing him out a little bit, so I'm going to bring him a little bit closer so you can see some of the detailing on him. You get that nice Autobot fit-looking face. The face itself, from what I understand, was modeled after the last Autobot, but is not the last Autobot, the Ark, and and so that kind of gives me a little bit of a theory. I think that the face that we see on the second year of Transformers Legacy is, a large Decepticon face, and it's not Tarn. I think it's the Nemesis. That's my theory. I think they're going to do the Nemesis next. So, if you guys have not already gotten the Ark, this is going to be it right here. And I love the Autobot symbols on him. Of course, you already see with the transformation just how posable he already is. And that's the thing. Like, this is a great figure for posing. And one of the cool things that we saw in the Netflix War for Cybertron trilogy was him holding Megatron. So I'm actually going to do that and reenact that whole, scene there where he's holding Megatron because, well, let's get that on camera just so you can see. And, something very, very cool about that particular, episode, as the series progressed, it was just something very neat. And just to show some more on the massive scale, here's, Earthrise Optimus Prime, Studio Series 86 Grimlock, and my customized Netflix Soundwave, just to take a look. So now let's get into the actual control room itself. Alright, so here is the bridge, taking out of the chest, and of course we got Optimus Prime there, and the orb itself is also removable with a small little peg, but I'm going to actually move them, I'm going to move Optimus out of the way, keep the orb there. But one of the cool things about this is that this is not just, a removable thing, to kind of make a little mini playset, but also it does transform. So we are going to open up the legs here, and then we're going to rotate this out so we can get the feet turned around, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we gotta open this up a little bit, and then we can rotate that around, and then you have the legs rotated around the waist, and then we're going to open up the arms. These have to, the panels actually have to fold up a little bit. Out come the fists. Do the same thing on this side. And then separate this piece. The head comes out, turns around, and what we get is a Teletran, or Ark colored Mainframe. And if you're not familiar with who Mainframe is, in the original G1 toy line, towards the end was the Action Master named Mainframe. And I'm actually kind of wishing that they would release this particular figure separate from the Ark in G1 Action Master colors, because having to paint this thing would kind of be a little bit of a chore. But there is some extra, an extra piece in here that is an extra feature. He's all the same articulation that you would expect out of the Legacy and War for Cybertron trilogy, figures you get out of Mainframe. Doesn't come with a blaster, of course. You can always give him one, and he stands, perfectly fine next to any of his fellow Autobots, such as Wheeljack here. I mean, I do think he's a pretty neat looking figure overall. I mean, but the thing is that I probably wouldn't be transforming him into Mainframe again unless he was more on that G1 toy accurate scale. However, he does have a third mode, which I think is pretty cool, all things considered, and we're actually going to transform him into that. So we're going to open up panels like so, get his fists in there, and if you don't already know what he transforms into, it's basically what the Ark was known for. Has a little, Sky Spy, which, if you're familiar with the original G1 cartoon, and I believe, if I remember correctly, it was the same satellite used in the comics, but this is what explore, repair, and then of course the Sky Spy also flew out in the episode Fire on the Mountain and was blasted by Megatron in deep space while Megatron was in Peru. So I'm just going to put that to the side because there is a little peg here that it's supposed to go into, and it always keeps popping out. So during the transformation, I'm just going to put that to the side, and I'm going to get his fists in there, and his head in there. Transformation working on a little bit. These panels, when they open up, you have to open them up all the way, like so, and then you can get this side panel to kind of come up. This little panel right here always tends to fall off on me as I'm in the middle of transforming it, and I don't know if that is something to do, just from being rattled, or if it's just kind of something with the molding. And of course, we do the same thing on the other side. Fold the panel all the way out. Get this out like so. And before I get the legs into position, I am going to rotate him at the waist. And then this little panel here goes like so. Do the same thing on this side. And if you guys will forgive me, you know, this is my first time in the new setup, so with this, like, I'm trying to make sure that the transformation is done in the same way that I normally would do it, but a little bit tricky, but that's okay. So then we're going to move the feet and rotate them, you know, towards the inside, and then the reason for that is to kind of keep it a stable base. And then we're going to put the legs together, and then you kind of like you bend the legs in a weird little position here in order to connect and make a little control panel like so. And if you're kind of already can see what this is becoming, it actually transforms itself into Teletran-1. And so I'm going to take this one panel, stick it out like so, and I'll talk about what this is in a moment. But then we are going to take this panel and connect it like that. Connect it like so. It's not sticking. Come on. Alright, so you already can see how I'm like kind of mistransforming it. The shoulders are supposed to rotate like so, and that makes everything line up the way that you need to. Yeah, if I can save one of you guys from heartache by my own pain, I have done my job. So then this goes like so, and then the panels all line up together and form Teletran-1. I think that is really, really cool. And what you probably already noticed was that there are 2 golden discs included with the Ark, and they kind of have like a little storage space right there in the back. And I want to show them off to you. On both of them, they use the Sounds of Earth, which is actually inaccurate to the Beast Wars cartoon. And then they have the Alien disc, and then the disc that was used on the you know, the actual Voyager spacecraft. And so having the 2 golden discs like this, I think is a very welcome addition to this overall. And I think it's just really, really cool. It's kind of like one of the selling points to the Ark, and I think it just makes it, you know, that much cooler. The display on Teletran-1 is exactly how you would expect it to be from the G1 cartoon, which is not the same computer that was used in, you know, in the G1 Marvel comics. However, of course, that is where the Sky Spy goes in, and this doesn't quite look complete, you know? Just having Teletran-1, just the actual, like, console for the computer is great and all, but you kind of need a little something. So what should we do here? Of course you can, print these out. You know, I actually found this particular, you know, printout on, I believe it was on, you know, on TFW 2005. I had gotten photo paper, you know, with, you know, that was matte photo paper to print these on. And unfortunately, of course, Teletran-1 ended up being the already part of the background, so it's kind of like a little bit not the way that I expected it to be, but that's alright, because Teletran-1, the actual physical one, can be there for Optimus Prime to use on a control panel if he wanted to, and of course Wheeljack could work on it, fix it, whatever you need him to have him do. Or you can do something like from the G1 cartoon, is to have Soundwave infiltrate Teletran-1 and acquire knowledge of Earth, as he did in the original G1 cartoon. So the Ark is something cool to add to your collection if you really love the idea of having a Titan class figure of the Ark in your collection that transforms. I do wish it had a little bit better posability, like around the thumbs and the hands itself in particular. And I do know that there are upgrade kits for it, including, you know, Toy Hacks labels, and then of course I think it's a DNA kit. I think that it gives you better posability on these hands, but it's like you're already spending a premium on this figure. And you know, right now, currently, I think a lot of like outlets might still have him in stock and are trying to unload him and getting him for sale. Getting him for sale is probably your best bet for this figure. I do think that Mainframe transforming into Teletran-1 is a major selling point for him, and as well as having the, you know, the golden discs, the bridge to the Ark, you know, the Sky Spy, as well as Mainframe can transform into robot mode, I think is a very cool addition overall. I think without this figure would not be worth it, in my opinion. But at the same time, having the Ark just be able to be as the Ark itself is relatively cool. But I don't know what you guys think. Have you picked up the Ark, or you've been waiting for it for it to go on sale? I believe it's still on sale. Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I sure hope you enjoyed this review. I have many more Transformers, you know, discussions, retrospectives, coming very, very soon. And on top of that, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, since it falls on today here in the U.S. So, of course, I hope everybody has a good holiday, spending time with their family. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.